Chapter 67. On Modesty in Dress. There is an old maxim that fine feathers make fine birds, and this maxim is always applied with contempt to overdressed women. The meaning seems to be about this. She's got a fine rig on her back, but very little sense in her head. She prides herself on her fine dress, but there is little else to be proud of. Modesty and simplicity in dress are great ornaments to a woman, and the woman whose heart is bent on serving God and gaining heaven must and will show this modesty and simplicity in her attire. Why? Simply because her soul is taken up with something more important than dress. She remembers that she has been placed here on earth, an immortal soul, to accomplish her destiny by serving and loving God, and not like a wax figure in a shop window, to be a machine to hang finery on. Her rule is rather that of the gospel. Having food and raiment, let us therewith be content. And she bears in mind the words of the Saviour of the world. Be not solicitous for your life what you shall eat, nor for your body what you shall put on. The life is more than the food, and the body more than the raiment. Matthew 6:25. Such was the idea of St. Francis of Rome. Of a noble and wealthy family, married to one of the most accomplished and prominent men, she was obliged by her station to wear rich and magnificent dresses, but it was always against her inclination. She would not act contrary to the wishes of her husband and his family, but she wore under her rich dress a habit of the coarsest and roughest material. At last, the grace and favor of God to her was so openly manifested that her husband told her that he would not stand in her way any longer, but that she should follow exactly what she deemed pleasing to God. For the rest of her life, she never wore any other gown than one of coarse green cloth. This would not have been right ordinarily, for we must generally dress according to our stations in life, and avoid every singularity. But her holiness had become so well known that it was proper in her case, and only gave edification to all who saw her. So it was also with Saint Elizabeth, who was of a royal family. She took great care to be dressed suitably and neatly, and was much admired for her simple and innocent grace of manner and dress. But still it was observed that she avoided every possible display of ornament and unnecessary extravagance, and seemed to be entirely free from all that vanity and lightness so common to rich and beautiful young ladies of her class. As soon as misfortune came upon her, she gladly laid aside every vestige of her greatness, and clothed herself in the poorest and coarsest apparel. And there are now many ladies of fortune and high position, who, with the spirit of Catholic piety, while they strive to avoid singularity in remark, study to dress just as plainly and inexpensively as possible. What a contrast here is to the giddy girl who earns by hard labor a few dollars a month and lays it all out on her back, who sets up for a lady without either the education or the manners of one. You maybe have heard of the fable of the jackdaw and the peacock. The jackdaw stole some of the peacock's feathers and stuck them in his tail, and then went strutting about among the peacocks. But as soon as he opened his mouth to make a noise, the cheat was discovered, and falling upon him, they picked him bare on the spot. So it is with these girls so fashionably rigged up. As soon as they open their mouths to speak, or as soon as you get a good look in their face, you see at once how much out of place all this finery is.